Depression isn't just feeling sad. It's like being trapped in a revolving door that refuses to let you out. The issue is, once you're in, everything feeds into the cycle. Low energy makes it impossible to focus at work, relationships feel like a burden, and the smallest tasks seem insurmountable. It's like a domino effect. One problem bleeds into the next, magnifying every struggle until it feels like you're drowning in quicksand. And the cruel irony: depression robs you of the motivation to fight back, almost like it's your mind's personal saboteur. Think about it this way: depression is often described as the HIV of mental health. That might sound dramatic, but let's unpack that. HIV weakens your body's ability to defend itself, and depression does the same. Except it's your mental resilience that's under attack. Tasks that once felt easy become overwhelming, while emotions spiral out of control. Even small setbacks feel monstrous. But what if I told you there's a central factor that fuels this vicious cycle? The thing keeping you stuck might not be the problems themselves, but the way you see them, the way you perceive the world, can quietly shape your reality. But what if your perception is lying to you? Depression twists how you see things, creating cognitive biases that pull you deeper into its grip. For instance, have you ever convinced yourself that a coworker's silence meant they disliked you? That's a classic case of negative interpretation of ambiguous events. Your mind fills in the blanks with negativity, building a false narrative that fuels the cycle of depression. Couple that with a selection bias, where you ignore all the good in your life and single out only the bad, and it's like adding fuel to an already raging fire. And then there's overgeneralization, the sneaky culprit that turns one bad moment into a sweeping conclusion about your entire existence. Have you ever thought this went wrong, so everything in my life must be a disaster? That's your brain turning molehills into mountains. But here's the thing: none of this is your fault. It's depression talking, not reality. And the scary part: these distortions aren't obvious in the moment. They creep in quietly, reshaping how you experience life until it feels like there's no way out. But what if we could uncover how these biases work to break free from their grasp? Have you ever heard of the blind spots in your vision? Yep, you have them. And tricky as it sounds, your brain fills in the gaps without you even realizing it. Right now, as you read this, there's a small part of your visual field that doesn't exist. But your mind makes it up so it appears seamless. Cool, right? But here's the kicker: depression does something eerily similar with your perception. Except instead of filling in the blanks with neutral reality, it uses negativity to distort how you see the world. That coworker who didn't say hi, depression decides they hate you, even though the truth might be they just didn't notice you. This phenomenon is why depression feels so overwhelming. It builds a reality that doesn't reflect what's actually happening. Imagine trying to live your day-to-day life relying on a filter designed to highlight the worst aspects of every situation. That's what these mental blind spots do, whether they're rooted in misreading a conversation or overblowing a minor setback. But what if we could start noticing these fabricated realities, begin to question them, and pull back the curtain on the tricks depression plays? Before diving into how to break these narratives, let's zoom in on why certain events, or inciting incidents, trigger these blind spots in the first place. Every story has a starting point, and depression isn't any different. It often begins with an inciting event. Maybe you experienced a breakup, lost someone close to you, or faced an unexpected failure. These are moments that can shake anyone to their core, but for someone prone to depression, they become the spark that ignites the downward spiral. What's fascinating is that while many people recover after these setbacks, others find themselves stuck, unable to bounce back. That's because the event itself doesn't determine the outcome. It's how your mind processes and internalizes it. Depression doesn't knock on the door and announce its arrival. It slips in quietly after the fallout of these life-shaking moments. For some, these inciting events act like seeds that grow into full-blown cycles of depression, fueled by patterns like overthinking and cognitive biases. A breakup might morph into, "I'll never be loved again," or a failed test becomes, "I'm not smart enough for anything." The problem isn't necessarily the event, but how your perception clings to the pain and builds stories around it. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. It's how depression operates. But what would happen if we could shine a light on those stories and understand the biases behind them? Let's peel back the curtain and explore the 3 major cognitive traps that make these narratives so stubbornly powerful. Depression has a sneaky way of rewiring how you process everyday events, and 3 particular culprits: negative interpretation of ambiguous events, selection bias, and overgeneralization. Play starring roles in this cycle. Imagine walking into the office break room one morning and a coworker doesn't acknowledge you. A neutral event, right? Not when depression steps in. Your brain twists that silence into rejection, assuming they don't like me. That's negative interpretation at work, turning something ambiguous into solid proof of negativity. The reality, they probably didn't even notice you. But depression doesn't let you think that way, does it? Now, add selection bias, and things go from bad to worse. Think of all the times you've received both praise and criticism. Which one do you replay in your mind later? Depression ensures you'll focus solely on the negative feedback, no matter how much positivity surrounded it. And then there's the ultimate domino effect: overgeneralization. One bad experience snowballs into sweeping thoughts like, everything in my life is terrible. That failed test wasn't just a bad day. It now makes you feel like a perpetual failure. But are these patterns unstoppable? Not quite, and learning to identify them is the first step toward breaking their hold. So, how does all this tie into the way we think about ourselves? If depression is a cycle, then negative self-attitude is its cruel centerpiece. It's that relentless voice in your head constantly reminding you, I'm the problem. And here's the kicker. This belief doesn't just pop out of nowhere. It's built over time by stacking every unresolved frustration, every misstep, and every failure into a mountain of self-doubt. It's the reason why seemingly small setbacks, like an argument with a friend or a tough day at work, don't stay contained. Instead, they feed into this narrative that you're not good enough, amplifying that internal criticism until it feels like your entire life is falling apart. This hypercritical perspective is exhausting, and there's a biological reason for feeling so stuck. Depression activates the default mode network in your brain, the part responsible for constant self-referencing. It traps your thoughts in endless loops of, I wish I hadn't done that, or why am I like this? The more this cycle repeats, the harder it gets to imagine yourself capable of change. So, how do you shift from I'm failing at everything to seeing yourself in a more balanced way? The field of mental health has helped unearth some tools, but not all of them address the root cause of these thoughts. Now, let's uncover the surprising gaps in traditional approaches to depression treatment. Modern psychiatry and therapy offer incredible tools for dealing with depression. But let's face it, they're not perfect. Many treatments focus on tackling emotions, behaviors, or even brain chemistry, but they often leave a critical piece of the puzzle untouched: perception. Think about it. Therapists can help you map out your thoughts with cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, or validate your emotions, but they can't truly change the way you see the world. That's because perception, how you interpret events, relationships, and even yourself, happens internally beyond the reach of traditional methods. Here's the frustrating part. This overlooked aspect of depression might just be the most important one. After all, if your mind distorts neutral or positive events into negative ones, it's no wonder you feel trapped. Yet perception is rarely the central focus in most treatment plans, which is why many people feel they only get partway better. Picture it like fixing the leaks in a sinking boat, but never addressing the hole in the hull. So, what's the missing link? Turns out, there are tools and practices, like mindfulness and self-reflection, that are designed to reshape your perception from the ground up. And wouldn't it be fascinating to explore why some people naturally excel at this while others don't? Why is it that some people seem to bounce back from setbacks while others spiral deeper into despair? The answer lies in resilience, and, more specifically, how resilient people perceive challenges. For them, a failure isn't a catastrophe, it's a lesson. Imagine someone who messes up at work. Instead of thinking, I'm terrible at my job, a resilient mindset might say, I'll learn from this and do better next time. This difference comes down to perception. Resilient individuals see life's hurdles as opportunities to grow, while depression twists them into insurmountable obstacles. Now, compare that to how depression frames the world. Someone stuck in a depressive mindset takes even minor inconveniences, like spilling coffee or being late for a meeting, and sees them as confirmation of their incompetence. It's not that resilient people don't face hardships. They absolutely do. They just interpret them differently. The good news, resilience isn't an innate superpower. It's a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed. But to strengthen resilience, we first need to train our perception to stop falling into those mental traps. Let's explore how you can do that, one technique at a time. Changing how you see the world might sound daunting, but it starts with small, intentional efforts. One powerful approach is the mentality-materiality exercise. This technique comes from ancient Buddhist teachings and can quickly shift your perspective. The goal is simple: separate what's objectively real from what your mind adds to it. For example, take a difficult conversation. Think about the facts, what was said, who said it, but strip away the emotional layers your mind attaches, like they must hate me or I'm a horrible person. Practicing this exercise regularly helps you stop assigning unnecessary weight to situations, breaking free from depression's influence. Another tool is cognitive reframing, which involves consciously looking for alternative interpretations to negative thoughts. Let's say you receive mixed feedback at work. Instead of fixating on the criticism, take a step back and ask, what are some positives here? What can I improve without beating myself up? And then there's the idea of removing the I from the narrative entirely. Many depressive thoughts center around self-blame. I messed up, I'm the worst. Try flipping the focus outward. What external factors could be at play? These techniques, when practiced consistently, act like mental push-ups, building strength over time. Speaking of mental training, studies in psychology have uncovered even more tools to help shift how we think about ourselves and the world around us. Psychology has gifted us practical tools to challenge depressive thought patterns and reshape how we see the world. One fascinating method comes from the thematic apperception test TAT, where individuals interpret ambiguous images while researchers use it to understand perception. You can adapt it personally when faced with vague situations in daily life. Like a text that reads, "We need to talk." Ask yourself, am I seeing this neutrally, or is my mind projecting negativity? Start training yourself to pause and consider alternative explanations before jumping to worst-case conclusions. Another exercise stems from studies on interpreting neutrality. Did you know that depression often makes people misinterpret neutral faces as negative? This distortion highlights how fragile perception becomes under its grip. To counteract this, experiment with perspective taking in real time. For instance, if someone doesn't respond to your text, challenge the negative reaction. They must be ignoring me, by brainstorming 3 neutral or positive reasons for their delay, like maybe they're busy. These scientifically grounded exercises may seem simple, but their impact compounds over time, retraining your mind to default to balance instead of negativity. Speaking of mindsets, there's one particularly intriguing theory that reframes depression entirely: depressive realism. Here's a concept that might catch you off guard: depressive realism. It's the idea that people with depression in some situations see the world more accurately than everyone else. For instance, while most people rely on an optimistic bias to see the future as brighter than reality, depression can remove that filter, leaving only cold, hard truths. This might sound like a superpower, but it's a double-edged sword. Without the balance of positivity, life becomes heavy, like trying to climb a mountain while carrying the weight of every disappointment you've ever experienced. But here's where things get tricky. While a small dose of realism keeps us grounded, too much of it leaves no room for hope or motivation. Optimistic bias, after all, is what helps us take risks, dream big, and recover from setbacks. Depression strips that away, creating a black and white world with no shades of gray or color. The question is, how can we take the clarity of depressive realism and combine it with the optimism necessary for a healthy, resilient mindset? The answer lies in reshaping perception itself. Let's dive deeper into how this can be done intentionally, starting with structured ways to fine-tune how we process the world around us. When it comes to breaking free from the cycle of depression, changing how you perceive the world might be the most powerful shift you can make. Think of perception as the mental lens you use to interpret everything around you. If that lens is smudged with negativity, it distorts reality. By training yourself to notice and adjust these distortions, you're not just treating the symptoms of depression, you're rewiring the way your mind processes experiences. Over time, this shift creates lasting changes in how you feel, think, and react to life. One of the best ways to build this skill is by practicing intentional perception exercises. Start small, revisit a tough day, and reframe its key moments. If you failed at something, ask yourself, what did I learn? Instead of, why am I such a failure? Training perception doesn't happen overnight, but with consistency, it becomes second nature. The best part? Each small victory compounds, slowly shifting your mental patterns toward clarity and balance. And these exercises don't work alone. Combining them with practices like yoga and meditation offers an even deeper transformation. Speaking of which, let's explore how these ancient tools can complement modern approaches to healing. Yoga and meditation aren't just trendy wellness buzzwords. They're deeply effective tools for combating depression and reshaping perception. At their core, these practices train you to observe your thoughts without judgment, creating a healthy separation between your mind and its relentless chatter. One technique in yoga, called Pratyahara, focuses on withdrawing from the senses, teaching you to pull back from overwhelming external stimuli. Imagine being able to step away mentally when life feels like too much instead of being swallowed by it. This practice helps reduce overthinking and create space for clarity. Meditation works hand in hand with this by sharpening awareness and cultivating balance. For instance, a simple mindfulness meditation can involve sitting quietly and focusing on your breath. When negative thoughts creep in, "Why did I say that?" or "I'm not good enough," you simply notice them and let them go. Over time, this rewires your brain to stop reacting impulsively to negative thinking. Science backs this up. Studies show that yoga and meditation reduce activity in the default mode network, the part of your brain responsible for self-critical spirals. Pairing these ancient techniques with perception training isn't just powerful, it's transformational. But before moving forward, let's recap and tie it all together into practical, actionable steps. Perception holds immense power over how we experience the world, and it's especially true for those stuck in the cycle of depression. By learning to see past the distortions created by cognitive biases, it becomes possible to break free from the hold of negativity. Techniques like cognitive reframing, the mentality-materiality exercise, or even meditation encourage you to take control of your narrative and challenge the default thoughts that depression amplifies. These aren't just abstract ideas, they're practical steps that can transform daily life. But here's the thing, consistency is key. The exercises and strategies we've explored aren't about flipping a switch overnight. They're about building new habits, one small step at a time. How can you start? Try the perception techniques, practice mindful detachment from negative thoughts, or dedicate 5 minutes to deep breathing daily. The goal isn't perfection, it's persistence. Depression feeds on stagnation, so even the smallest actions can create momentum toward change. The journey starts with a choice. Will you dare to see the world differently? And as you practice this shift, you'll find that change isn't just possible, it's powerful. If you want to continue exploring life-changing topics like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. You'll find practical and valuable insights to reshape your mindset and transform your life step by step. And don't forget to activate the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we release new content to support your journey. The next step is in your hands. Are you ready to take it?